Love this podcast? Support this show through the supporter feature from Acast. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Right now it's -6, feels more like -14 degrees. I'm Louis Butko. News next at 1 o'clock. Theater Crisp along with tap dancer David Cox join Jim live in studio, and the Jim Fannon Show starts now on News Talk 610 CKTB.
This is the Jim Fannon Show on Niagara's News Talk 610. Call now, 905-688-2582, 1-877-610-2582, or text us at 61010.
I've made one mistake in my life. I should have burned Berlin down.
And an absolutely sensational sunny Sunday afternoon to you, live from 12 Yates Street right here in beautiful downtown St. Catharines. This is the Jim Fannon Show. Heard here on the one voice for Niagara, News Talk 610 CKTB on your AM dial and streaming live to the rest of the world. 610CKTB.com. 34 shows in. I don't know if that seems like a lot or a little or whatever. David Jones is running the board. Thank you for the nice comments around town and for checking us out on the website. I'm honored to bring you a little bit of what I consider to be solid programming to the station. We're always looking for good stories, though, interviews, contributions, bands, local bands. We want to pimp you if you do not suck. Touch me up. You can find me on Facebook. Tweet us out on Twitter at Jim Fannon. Twitter's fun. LinkedIn. JimFannon@gmail.com. What the hell? Text me at 934-1110. It's not like my phone number is a big secret. Shoot off a text. You know it's area code 905. Dive into the conversation that never stops out on social media. You know the Jim Fannon Show's often been political. I'm just listening on the way in today. Premier Wynne sums up the Conservatives and Tim Hudak in her convention speech with 3 words. Cut, cut, cut. Ms. Premier, maybe you should sum up the Conservatives and Tim Hudak with 1 word. Cut. Saying a word 3 times doesn't make it a different word. Maybe that dude needs a new speechwriter. New content collector. Politics makes you sick, doesn't it? We've got an unelectable conservative leader that the current leader, who should be embarrassed of their record and history, and then a stalled, potentially dynamic leader in the NDP's Horvath, who's picking average topics and selling them below average, but probably has, if anyone's got a little momentum in politics right now, you'd think it'd be Horvath in the NDP. Seriously. I'm putting all my attention on municipals coming up. The race for mayor, and we've done a lot of politics on the show. Congratulations to Tim and Deb Hutton on the birth of their second child. Newsworthy. And did they hyphenate that name, or is Hutton her middle name? Have to get that from Butko later. 905-688-2582 are your digits. We always go open phones for you. And we've given you other ways to contact the show if you want to tweet out 610CKTB. That's at 610CKTB. Get on it. A tradition here on the Jim Fannon Show. Live, local rock stars playing sub-average music in Dave Jones's booth. We started sub-average last week with Jesse Reed, just because I love Jesse Reed. Poke the ones you love. Theater Crisp. Stoked about this today. The booth is packed. Jonesy's got him wired for sound. Theater Crisp and tap dance legend David Cox will not suck today. They will play their first bumper on the way back from this segment after the commercial break. And George Scott joins me today. A lot of people looking forward to this interview. Teased it for a couple weeks now. Neonicotinoids is a mouthful, but they're in pesticides, and they're possibly affecting the bee population, not only the bee population and their existence, but human health. We're going to talk about neonic's effect on the human's nervous system and the bee population. George Scott is in the booth. We'll go to him at 12:15. We will take your calls. This hour is going to move quickly. We go to the province at 1 o'clock. We bump Robert Swayze today. I want to say thank you to the Integrity Commissioner. We chased him for a long time. We finally got a deal today, but we're bumping him. We'll try and make it up to him next week. The Integrity Commissioner's old news. Who really wants to talk about it? But no one's talked to this guy since he brought his report down to the Niagara region. But today I thought it'd be better to get Dana Larson on the phone. The Conservatives lose a court challenge. A federal court rules today, or Friday, that access to medical marijuana should be continued. And April 1st, if you have an existing prescription for medical marijuana, you will be able to continue to produce your own medicine and carry. If you have a license, don't fear. April 1st will not be the rude April 1st joke you thought it was going to be. So Dana Larson will come in. Sensible Canada is his group. He's coming in at 12:30. And then these guys. This is classic. Way to go, Jonesy. We'll go out with Theater Crisp, too. Nice. These guys are going to come in and talk about their CD release party coming up. Where else? Mansion House. Want to see live music? It's where you see a lot of these guys. Theater Crisp will come in and give us the last segment, talk about what they're up to. You can enjoy some of their music coming back from commercials today, right here on 610 CKTB's Jim Fannon Show.
Living to run when the day turns night, you'll be missing that sun on your faces. It's simply trying to make it. Made to be great, made to be savage. Some of us people were made to be average. It's the mediocre that really shaped the culture. From a woman named Earth to the ones who love her. When the cold, dark shadow in the...
This is the Jim Fannon Show on Niagara's News Talk 610. Call now, 905-688-2582, 1-877-610-2582, or text us at 61010.
You ain't got this till you're willing to love. You know, days come quick while you dribble a touch on the pavement. You're simply trying to make it. Your whole damn life you've been living to run. When the day turns night, you'll be missing that sun on your faces. You're simply trying to make it.
Welcome back. I am Jim Fannon. How much fun is this? David Cox tapping out on the board. Theater Crisp doing live bumper musics. George Scott is in the booth with me today. We're talking neonics, the effect of what is in these pesticides that are killing the bees population. George, thanks very much. I really appreciate your time coming in on a Sunday.
Jim, great spot here. Great to see the band there next door. Very exciting. This is quite a happening place.
Well, we have a lot of fun. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Now, tell me, I have done a little bit of research into this. You've been making presentations at Brock, municipal and regional councils across Ontario, I guess. Give us a dummies, a 101 for neonics, a neonics for dummies?
Well, we're getting steady hits now on our social media. People want to know exactly what it is. Most people can't say neonicotinoids. They are a new type of pesticide, and in pesticide you have fungicides, herbicides, and insecticide. This is an insecticide.
Okay.
And in that insecticide, it is a new one. It's only been around really 10 years on mainstream agriculture and consumer products. But what it does is it makes the entire creature that you're trying to protect, or the absorbent, it makes it the insecticide itself. And what we're seeing is that really, truly, there was a lack of testing when this was introduced, and specific to Niagara. We picked up a lot on what the beekeepers were trying to tell us, but to be quite honest, the beekeepers have been pummeled into the ground by the big chemical companies. The spin doctors have put it a certain way, and our job now is to present both sides of the stories to create a little more public awareness.
Is this the classic David and Goliath story? Is this, the public against Monsanto, type of idea that, or is public awareness something that can turn this all around and get us going in a different direction?
I think that this is no longer about the science of things. What we're really looking at here is the fact that in all of the history of many of the insecticides that have come onto the Canadian scene and been banned, and I can tell you more than 100 of them had a beginning, a middle, and an end. And they all ended because they had non-targeted effects that the public could not tolerate, such as killing all the birds.
Unintended consequences.
Unintended consequences,
right.
Exactly. So what we're seeing here now is we are starting to map out the real life cycle of this chemical. It is the number one insecticide used in agriculture today. It's the number one chemical used in urban insect control today. And it has a lethality that makes DDT look like a puppy.
Wow. Now, this is designed to kill insects. Are we also using it in fertilizers as well, or is this just pesticide-based?
This is a pesticide, and it can go on at the same time. It is waterborne, so if you are a greenhouse operator, you can add it to your water and flood it to the soil, because once it comes in contact with the plant you want to sell, the whole plant sucks it up and it becomes the plant. However, in agriculture now, what we're finding out, it also becomes the soybean. It also becomes the corn at very low doses. However, that is our food stream now. So all of that stuff is not just in the leaf where we want to get rid of those leaf eaters. It is directly in our food at the same proportion.
Okay, and do we know the human effects that it could have? I think we've seen, the bee population take a significant hit, but at one time we thought it was Wi-Fi, and we thought maybe it was electromags or what have you, cell towers or whatnot. I think that we've come around on the bee population argument. Do we know what human effects that these neonics have on us?
We're just starting to map that out now, and there's a lot of unknowns, but it is the developmental neural tissue that we're considering. Also, this has an ability to weaken people's immune system and transport viruses and bacteria that you could normally fight off, and they are now quite lethal. Something like, unfortunately, an AIDS victim would have the cause of death pneumonia. Well, of course, he died of pneumonia, and that's true. However, he was immunocompromised, and the cause of death really was not the pneumonia, although that's what killed him. We're finding out that the bees are dying of viruses that they've always had. The bees are dying of bacteria that they always had. They always could fight those off, but they are now all testing very high in neonicotinoid, and they cannot tolerate that.
What's the flip side of this? In every problem, there's an opportunity, and there's got to be an economic opportunity here. Tell me a little bit about the effect on financial matters.
Well, if you want to look at the business of it, here I represent a consortium of very large commercial beekeepers. Niagara is a unique place, and it's gifted. On the top of the emblem of the city of St. Catharines is a beehive. It really is. It really is a place to grow bees in all of Canada. And currently, we are now importing bees. And now, say you are a kid, you graduate from school, you are now going into beekeeping, you've been doing it for the last few years, you make maybe $30,000 a year and you are working hard at it. Prices of bee products now have tripled. So that opportunity has become a hard-working farm job at maybe $30,000 a year to the same type of work now making $90,000. So those particular types of jobs are not going to stop. They're sustainable, they're environmental, they're long-term, they're ecosystem, all the things that all the politicians are talking about. Those are what we're exactly looking at. The biggest threat to that right now is an insecticide. These are insects, And this insecticide is unlike anything I've ever seen since I've been in the chemical industry since 1984.
Now, I always wondered about that stuff I used to put on my Roddy's neck. That oily substance that kind of, just put a couple drops in the Advantage or whatever, that flea and tick. And then you couldn't have it if they hadn't been tested for heartworm, and it warded off heartworm, I believe, as a result of keeping them free of fleas and ticks. But tell us about the other applications. We know it's being applied as a pesticide, but we're using this commercially to keep fleas and ticks off our pets. And this could be having serious effects on our own health?
Absolutely. There are, because this is a new chemical, it's not been around for 50 years, there aren't any 20-year studies. So the 10-year studies are now just coming out. If you go to the website now, last night we put up the video presentation as well as the documentation so that you can see the human health impacts of these chemicals and judge them for yourself. You have to recall that even though we knew many other chemicals were very bad, before they were banned, it was not so much the science that banned it, it was the public outcry. People could not tolerate all of the eagles and all of the birds dying because their shells were not formed. And that's what caused it. They had the science to ban DDT long before it was banned. It was the public outcry. So today what we're talking about here is to encourage people to go to our website at NiagaraBeeway.com and to look at the information for themselves. And their public outcry is what will cause controlled release of this particular substance. What's
the impact? How do we know if we're suffering from a contamination that could come from something like the neonicotinoids, or is it something that is going to, be stretched over decades and decades and centuries before we really get the impact on it?
Well, we've been working in particular through the region with public health, and the biggest problem that we have at public health, even our specialists, when they do a review of our work, they go out to do a literature search everywhere and wherever they can get their information, and there is no information on this. So they have very scant information so that they have to reflect on the main source, and that would be the ag chem manufacturer saying, hey, this stuff is okay.
Now, you mentioned that Niagara is unique, what part of the world, as far as the bee environment for breeding? And
well, as you all know, because of our wine industry, because of some of the other the Great
tender
Lakes,
fruit,
because of the tender fruit, they don't grow cherry trees and berry. And because we have quite harsh winters here, but very warm and luxurious summers, and we are predominantly a rural community, that means we've got lots of diversified plants out there. It is an ideal place in Canada to raise honeybees.
Now, are we actually fearing that we'll have to manually pollinate our crops someday in this area if we don't take action? Is that just a pie in the sky kind of an argument of fear that people are using to draw some attention to it?
No, I would say that the Niagara farmers are very sophisticated, and very financially motivated. If they had a 20 or 30 acre cherry crop and they could not get bees or make money, they would no doubt still use their land, but they would say plow it down and grow soybeans. They would make a change. They would discontinue. If they can't make money, they would not be climbing up on ladders with paintbrushes like they do in China to pollinate apple trees. They would take the chainsaw out, take that apple orchard out, and they would grow corn or soybeans or something that did not require it. But those particular produce items like apples and cherries would disappear.
Well, I really appreciate your time. We could probably spend a whole hour, and we will get you back as this kind of story develops and spend some more time on it today. But I appreciate you making some time. I know you've been making some news around here, so I appreciate you coming in. NiagaraBeeway.com has all the information you need. Access to George Scott as well. NiagaraBeeway.com. Find out more about some of these new toxic chemicals being included in our pesticides that are having an effect on the bee population and human health. On the way back, Dana Larson will talk to us about the injunction announced on Friday. You can continue to grow your weed past April 1st. And more Theater Crisp after this on the 610 CKTV Jim Fannon Show.
Writers got written, poets got soul, hell yeah. Filling the cracks you make with the dice you could never let go. Still in your vision, takes a toll on that mind. You're feeling the weight, don't worry, it'll lighten as you're passing the time.
This is the Jim Fannon Show on Niagara's News Talk 610. Call now, 905-688-2582, 1-877-610-2582, or text us at 61010.
You ain't seen nothing till you get stoned. 'Cause the music's the drug that keeps us free. Filter through the thoughts and find your means. What we got in front of us is just a seed, yeah. After water, you'll see growth will come. Put your shoes on, 'cause we got minds to feed. So you're gonna have to settle up your dead past. Get them moving, travel down the next path. But use it, you'll never make it home fast. You lose your stride. You gotta cover up the stop signs as you're running. Never let the outside destroy your loving. It's how you manage your design that leaves you feeling fine.
Welcome back. I am Jim Fannon. They are Theater Chris.
Search the land for something you can hold.
Not bad, boys. David Cox cranking it out. Tap dancing on the board in Dave Jones' studio. Nicely done, boys. On the phone with me now, Robert Swayze was the Integrity Commissioner hired by the region of Niagara and joins me on the phone now. Robert Swayze, thank you very much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Jim.
Tell me a little bit about your capacity as an Integrity Commissioner and how many times have you served in this function?
I was first appointed in Oakville in 2008, and I now serve in 9 municipalities, including Mississauga, Oakville still, and Guelph and Brantford and a few others.
So you have permanent positions with those councils?
Well, not permanent. I enter into a professional services agreement with each of the municipalities, and they have terms and they expire, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, did you put your name forward to the region to be rehired as their Integrity Commissioner in the future as well?
Yes, I did.
And has that decision come down yet?
Yes.
And so
I'm no longer the Integrity Commissioner in Niagara region.
Okay, can you speak to why? Did they give you a reason?
No, I didn't. I didn't get any reason, but that's the nature of a request for proposal. You make your proposal, and the region chose someone else.
Great. Robert Swayze is my guest. He was the Integrity Commissioner and has served in that capacity around Ontario. Mr. Swayze, tell me a little bit about the process that you go through.
You mean being hired, or do you mean...
No, the actual process of when you hear a complaint, something's brought forward to you. Is it like a court of law, or how?
Well, you operate according to the rules of natural justice. It's not a court of law, but most of the municipalities have what's called a complaint protocol. So I have detailed rules as to what I should do. So normally you'll receive the complaint, you'll give notice to the person complained about, and give them usually 10 days to respond, and then you give that response to the complainant and give them another 10 days, and then you likely personally interview each of the relevant people, the witnesses that are involved.
Now, did that happen down here in Niagara?
Yes, it did.
Okay, are you aware that your interview was posted online?
Yes.
Okay. Have you heard that?
Pardon me?
Have you heard that interview?
Well, I was there. I didn't need to listen to it.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, it's posted on SoundCloud, and I'm not sure how many hits it's gotten, but...
that was a surreptitious recording also.
Meaning what?
Meaning that the blogger, I allowed him to attend the interview with the counselor, and he had a hidden wire on him.
Okay. And you say surreptitiously, am I to assume that that's illegal in Canada? Or?
Well, no, I don't. It doesn't concern me. Anything that happened in that interview can be made public.
Okay.
That's not a concern to me. But but it's not exactly according to Hoyle.
Okay, I get that. And so is that something that you're proud of, being out there? Is it something you stand behind, the way you conducted that interview? Because at parts of it sounded to me
absolutely
like your mind had already been made up before you actually interviewed the other half of the story.
Why do you say that?
Well, I'm saying, to me, when I listened to that interview, and it was some time ago, I haven't listened to it in a little while, but I did take some notes of the number of times you said, I don't need to talk to them. In response to Petrowski's claim that there's people that you haven't talked to. You talked to all the regional councillors and the complainants, but it was his argument that you had come to this meeting with your mind already made up.
That's not true.
Okay. Did you actually talk to all the complainants, including Hansard?
There were two that... Remember, I was instructed to get my report done by a certain date, and of course, council only meets every I guess couple of weeks, and so I had to get the report done. There were two ladies who were at the meeting that I attended, who I left voicemail for, and they didn't respond to me. So I just assumed they didn't want to talk to me.
Okay, well, on several shows on this station leading up to that, I mean, this has been discussed at all ends. They claim that they were never put in contact with you, so maybe that just got lost in translation.
No, it's not. No, no, that's right. I didn't talk to two of them. One of them was an employee of the province, and she chose not to call me back.
Right. Robert Swayze, I really appreciate the time. Just on the way out, can you point to something that you've taken up that you're proud of as far as resolution goes in your capacity as an integrity commissioner?
Well, I think that just being the integrity commissioner and a council adopting a code of conduct, which are a series of rules that they intend to follow. And no document could be perfect, so they need an integrity commissioner to interpret the document. But I think it's very beneficial to every municipality to adopt a code of conduct and follow it. It's over and above what's required by the law, and it deals with accountability and transparency.
I noticed one comment you made maybe in the law review when they interviewed you about your capacity as integrity commissioner. You say it's something to the effect of, we're making new laws. Can you speak to that a little bit?
So we're not really making new laws.
Well, that was your quote, though.
We're dealing with new problems all the time because it's relatively new. I mean, it started in 2006 in Toronto, but it's not really a field of law that existed before at the municipal level. That is, of course. So you're dealing with different things that have never happened before, and it's very interesting and quite challenging.
I appreciate your time, Mr. Swayze. Thanks for coming into the show and being frank with us. I really appreciate it.
Okay, my pleasure.
That was Robert Swayze. He served as the Niagara Regional's Integrity Commissioner. That conversation is up on SoundCloud. Find it pretty interesting. Check it out, but he will no longer be the Integrity Commissioner in Niagara, apparently. For whatever reason. Up next, David Cox and Company, known as Theatre Crisp. Local rock stars will talk about their CD release party coming up in the Mansion House. May 3rd? Sounding good, boys, right here on the Jim Fannon Show.
You gotta keep running, you broke the seal. To keep it real, now go and spin the wheel. You gotta keep running, you took the bait. Now it's safe to say you gotta play the game. You gotta keep running, you broke the seal. Just to keep it real, go and spin that wheel. You gotta keep running, you took the bait. Now it's safe to say you gotta play the game. You gotta keep running, you broke the seal. Just to keep it real, now go and spin the wheel. You gotta keep running, you took the bait. Now it's safe to say you gotta put.
This is the Jim Fannon Show on Niagara's News Talk 610. Call now, 905-688-2582, 1-877-610-2582, or text us at 61010.
Yo, you felt underrated since when you were a kid. Now it's 20 years later and you haven't changed a bit. Broke like the rest of us, dreaming of a journey, working a dead-end job and living the weekend in a hurry. When it rains outside, you sit and think of the times when life wasn't such a big old mess with the mind. You're fed up and tied up with things you despise, cause you settle for the middle ground and wall-to-wall the pride. It's a thin line between the dream and the drive. We walk it like a tightrope, just screaming for our lives. A simple way to put it, with an old-fashioned vibe. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. Now come on.
All right, welcome back. Jim Fannon Show is live. This is Groove Pocket. Do you guys get tired of hearing this does not suck, man? You guys are awesome. Nicely done.
Thank you, sir.
David Cox, Canadian tap dancing witch. Straight up witchcraft.
Witchery.
Jay, the strange guitarist with the facial expressions that my niece... I'm going to marry him, she says. She's 16. She says that about every young, good-looking boy who kind of looks like he was really tripped out on mushrooms or something the other day. It was funny faces and everything. Rock stars, we all fantasize. Hey, oh, no, he's tripping. Yeah. Kyle, you are the guy laying down most of the vocal tracks.
I am.
Very tight. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Peter, what's your function, bro? You're on bass.
I'm the bass man, yeah.
And we're missing a couple guys.
Yeah, DJ K-Flip, who does the cuts.
Okay, now, before we go any further, K-Flip.
Yeah.
Okay, that dude doesn't want to be part of your band. You know that,
he
right?
does.
No, but have you seen him from the audience?
He's just,
when you're standing in the audience, that guy looks so disinterested. He looks like he hates you guys. He's just doing it out of like he's not getting paid. Like he's
just
angry.
his demeanor. It's just
bitter. He does not want to be in your band.
No, he does. Like through the videos, we get him to smile when they're taking a video of him, right? Like in the middle of our videos, so that like we can get a smile out of him. Because if you see in the Mind the Gap video, the new video, he's smiling. And we got him to smile.
Okay. Okay, so the name again, DJ
K-Flip.
K-Flip. Okay, and who else?
And the drummer, Mr. Jared Gertz, who is
Germany.
He's in Germany right now.
Got it.
Handling some business over there for Pilotary.
So we got two Dutch brothers on the band?
No, they're not. They're not
related. Brothers, we're not Dutch.
Okay. Oh, there goes my hand. Yeah. All right. 905-688-2582. You want to talk to some rock stars? Maybe Kyle, you can talk to us about the CD release party coming up.
Yeah, May 3rd. We're having a CD release party at Mansion House
in St. Catharines,
and
just down the road from me.
Yeah.
Yep. Good friends of the station, actually. Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
May 3rd. What night's that?
That's a Saturday night.
Saturday night. Okay.
Yeah.
Cover at the door.
$10 at the door.
$10 tickets. Yeah.
Are you guys taking the gate, or are the boys taking it?
We share. We got our promoter buddies helping us do it, and we like to spread it to all the bands. We got some out of town guys coming in. We'll throw them a few $100.
You got a couple opening acts?
Yeah.
We're hoping to have a band from London called AFOS come down, and we did their CD release party last month, and they're awesome dudes. Really good music. Very similar to our kind of style, so it will work really well.
What the hell is your style, man?
I don't know. I mean, we're mashed together with all kinds of stuff. But
who the hell brings a theatrical artist, a tap dancer, and thinks that's going to work? I mean, I know the concept of you can't do this. You know, I hate to bring it and talk other bands while you guys are here.
Yeah.
My Son, the Hurricane, they said, no, that'll never work. You don't have 13-piece brass rock and roll band and then a rapper. You guys kind of got the same feel going on.
You make it work, like
a different genre of music. Combined with rap or hip-hop, and then DC slamming the board.
Yeah. Add some cool percussion, I think, in some of the songs.
Like Dave's dancing up there, going crazy.
I mean, he sells the show at a live show, right?
Tell me the truth.
Smile
the first two guys to go are the DJ and the tap dancer. You guys are still a rock and roll star with those.
DC's like the biggest Theater Chris fan ever. You know what I mean? He's in the band. Like, he promotes us like crazy. He's the best dude in the world.
One thing I love about David Cox, and all joking aside, I know him through a friend of mine, Brad Sheehan. His mother had a dance studio right down here back in the old days. Don Sheehan, real estate legend. And, I met David a couple times, maybe at a Green Party function or the Mansion House or something like. always remembers your name, always remembers, hey, last time, your kid had a cast on his arm or something. The guy's a phenomenal people person. Is this guy out there selling the band?
Oh, yeah. He knows everybody.
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere without Dave knowing somebody.
David Cox, dancing since 2 years old. Tell me a little bit about your inspiration, who you've been hitting it with. I know you've hit it with some legends out there, right?
Yeah. I've just been really fortunate. Growing up at Diane Briz in the studio before Sheehan's.
Right.
Diane Sheehan. My mom was a dance teacher, and I just grew up thinking that it was going to be a hobby, and then it turned into something that I was going to do for life. And I've worked with a lot of great artists, but at this point in my life, this is something that I've truly invested in, and working with these guys, these artists, is just...
You're not making any money with these guys. Where are you making your money, man?
None of us are making any money with ourselves.
You tap dance for money, man? Really? This is a freaking career for you, DC?
I teach and I do performance and corporate gigs and whatnot. I've got a company called Copacetic Cox Entertainment. But other than that, no. Right now, artistically, being able to be a part of a band and make music with my feet. My dad was part of the Ink Spots, the Platters, and the Avalon, so music was always in the family. And now that I have a chance to be able to make music as well, even though I don't have a voice, never got the voice, but half the days I don't have a voice. But no, this is just like a real dream come true, and if something happens with it, it's amazing. We'd be so stoked. But right now, we're just living in the moment, and we love making music and playing shows and
you guys do a nice job. And I said to you guys in the booth, I'd seen you guys a couple times before I actually really saw you, and I don't know what that is, maybe a familiarity with the song, or just that's too different, the genre. I just I'll wait for the main act to come up, because you guys have done a lot of opening gigs, and now you guys got gigs opening for you. Anything come to mind? Constantly having local acts in here and asking them, hey, what can we do to just showcase this natural resource that is the talent, specifically musically here, but the arts in general? Anything come to mind? Like, we could help you out politically? We talked about, Jesse Reed says there's grants out there, but man, try and get one.
Yeah,
Sarah,
it's difficult.
Sarah Beatty maybe just finally went through the process and got some money, but
that's awesome.
It's difficult.
It's very difficult.
Well, you can't oversaturate one area either, right? You can't play in one area constantly, because people just get bored of you and forget you. So you got to go out to the other cities, just branch out, play there, play London, play Guelph, play Toronto, come back, play at home, once every 3 months, 4 months, something like that. You can't really oversaturate the area. Everyone's going to get out there and just keep spreading their branches, to other places if they want to keep...
Now, you guys independent? You're not signed to
We're not signed with anybody. No, we're completely
Now, is that by choice? Because there's some guys out there that say, you know what? No, I want control. I want creative control. I want distribution control. In this day and age, distribution's a little bit different, but you'd think you still need a big agent or a management company or something.
We need a manager. 100%. Sure. It's a difficult thing to...
Say that again. We
need it. Anybody out there want to manage us? Yeah, call us up. We're good to go. But it's difficult with, trying to get shows planned and everything when, there's 4, 5, 6 different guys trying to book a show or something, and the schedules are crazy, right? So we need someone kind of putting us in the right direction and, managing the whole situation, because it's a mess sometimes.
Yeah.
What's a manager get? He's going to take your sales, or he's going to...
It's like commission, like 10% off whatever they kind of secure.
Generate for you.
15%, whatever.
Nice. What else you got coming up? You got CD release Saturday, May 3rd at the Manch. Any other live shows we can catch before that comes up?
We're playing Guelph.
April 4th.
At the E-Bar.
Yeah.
Okay. Pete Stock.
Yes.
What up, Pete?
Yes. Put me on the spot here.
Pete Stock.
What's at Colonial Park now?
Pete Stock is something we've been doing for the past 4 years. Non-profit music festival to raise money for a local charity, Red Roof Retreat.
Okay, good.
So this year we're moving it basically out of the backyard and into a real venue at Colonial Park on York Road. It is, I believe.
Right. Okay.
So we're in the process of looking for sponsors, if anyone's out there, and looking for bands. You can apply on the Pete Stock music page or email at peter@theatercrisp.com.
Now, can you camp out at the Colonial Park as well?
No, we won't have
Pete Stock. I mean, Tent City. That was a pretty good feel, man. It was a nice crew.
The Wild West.
It was really like a backyard barbecue with a bunch of great bands. I mean, if Jacob Bergsma, that's where I learned that he can body surf on 10 hands. 10 hands, 5 people. Come on, get to the front. He will body surf on 2 people if he can. Right?
No, we won't have any camping this year, but. Last year we were close to 500 people, so we're confident that we'll still fill up the new venue, and regardless, it'll be a good time. So
I'm sure your mom doesn't. Yeah, your mom doesn't want 500 people in the backyard. Every year.
No, that was a little much. And it's August 2nd on Saturday.
So you got that gig booked already.
Yes,
guys, thank you very much for coming in. It was really good to see it. That thing has rocked a couple times. We've had X Prime, Black Flies, Aaron Berger, Jesse. I mean, the list has been pretty long.
For sure.
But I put my feelers out through Bergsma. I think there's a little, protectiveness here. He's like, no, I'm not asking these guys to be on because Peter Gertz. Yeah, no problem. The guys are in. I'll talk to them tonight. We're down.
Oh yeah.
So Bergsma, thank you for nothing. I do pledge to get. I'm gonna ram this place with my son. I'll get half of the band over there and half of the band over there. Yeah.
It will be awesome.
Got to do it.
TheaterCrisp.com.
Yes.
Theater Crisp on Twitter,
Facebook, YouTube.
YouTube.
If you type in Theater Crisp on Google, there is just a bunch of pages that come up that you can check us out on. We're all over the place.
Nicely done on Mind the Gap, man. Great video. I got a soft spot for the Camview drive-in, and it was good to see. Who the hell is Preston? Preston!
Actually, Preston is a guy that was putting down our music on the internet for a while, and we labeled him Preston, and he was talking about Groove Pocket. He didn't like it. And,
I'm Jim Fannon. This is 610 CKTV. I'm out of here.